Hi, my name is David Thompson. I'm an instructional aide at an elementary school, and I'm here with my friend.
Hi, I'm Miss Veneman. I teach social and emotional learning at the same elementary school. We teach third through sixth graders.
And we had a conversation recently about goal setting, and you were talking about writing a book. So tell me how that's been going.
It's going.
Mm.
It's a little slower than I would like, partly because life gets busy, and partly because the first draft of any book is not the best draft. But that's to be expected. Every author who's published always says you have to write a lousy first draft. One of my mentors is also a gardener, so she calls the first draft the manure for the garden.
Ah,
And so you have to have the manure first draft to get the much better final draft.
yes, yes.
And I'm in the manure right now.
I would definitely understand that. Yeah.
And when I do write, it feels so good because I'm living a dream that I've had since I was in fourth grade.
Mm.
My fourth grade teacher put a story into a school-wide publication without telling me. So when we all got our booklets, when it was published,
Oh, yeah.
my story was in there.
Wow.
And my mom was like, "Oh my gosh, you could be a writer when you grow up." And whenever I was trying to decide what I wanted to be when I grew up, my mom would say, "Don't you want to be a writer?" And I still do want to be a writer, and I'm in my 50s right now. So I finally am writing my first novel.
Well, good for you. Yeah.
So,
It's funny because often we have dreams, but a lot of times we let them get deferred because life gets in the way. So I'm glad that you're meeting the challenge.
well, thank you. And you worded that perfectly because life does get in the way,
Mm-hmm.
but often we allow it. Because if we allow life to get in the way, then we don't fail because we just got busy and didn't do it.
Yeah, yeah.
And the fear of failure sometimes keeps us from working on our dreams.
Well, and there's also those voices in the back of your head telling you that you're not good enough, and as you get older, sometimes they get a little bit louder. But I notice, particularly with working with students, uh, a lot of times they internalize things and they defeat themselves by saying, I can't do this or I can't do that. And what I find, even as an adult, is that um, I face fears all the time. And fortunately, I have a wife and a friend, Mrs. Schroeder at school, who they both get on me sometimes and say, uh, Mr. T, you got to do this. And so they both needled me a lot this past year and encouraged me to to enter my first piece into an art show. Actually, I did three different paintings, and I was terrified because I had never entered anything into like a fine art show. Uh, People always see me drawing like fantasy images and stuff like that, but I also do paintings. And so I was thinking, no way. But they both said yes, yes, yes. And so, of course, I have to listen to them. And so I did it. But I didn't tell anybody because I didn't think it was going to work. But because I did it, when it was time to actually go to the show, I arrived late. I was probably like 20 minutes late, and Mrs. Schroeder was sitting there like, where is this guy? And so I walked in there, and I was looking for my artwork, and I was like looking back in the corner somewhere, and she was sort of like trying to direct me over to where there was this ribbon on the wall, and it was my piece, and it had won second place, and so it was just like my very first showing, won second place, and I just didn't believe that was possible. So um, keep going because you never know what's possible. It was exciting.
It is exciting. And I know how beautiful your paintings are because I have one hanging in my living room. So
You
thank
do.
you.
Yes, you're welcome. You're
As
welcome.
one of your early patrons.
Well, thank you.
So overcoming the voices in our head is one of the biggest obstacles we have to overcome to achieve our dreams. Would you agree?
I do agree. Yes, yes. And one important piece of that, though, is that it's important to make sure you're surrounding yourself with people who are going to put positive voices in your head as well. Um, you know, without voices like my wife and Mrs. Schroeder, I never would have done that. I would have listened to those voices telling me I'm not good enough, and I never would have found out how good I can be.
That's a really good point. For me, a lot of the negative voices are from the past because I've surrounded myself with such positive people in my life that encourage me. And I had a time where, like over the holidays where you can say you're busy with the holidays, that I wasn't writing.
Yes.
And I got a Christmas card in the mail from one of my dad's best friends. And he signed his and his wife's name and said, "I hope you're still writing your book."
Oh,
And I got on my computer and I typed that day because
that's
I
nice.
hadn't in a couple of months.
Yep.
So it is really good to have those positive people that keep needling us to get us to do what we want to do anyway.
Yep.
We
Those
just
little
might be a
things.
little afraid of the failure along the way. So a message to any kids out there watching this video: believe in yourself. If you need some positive voices, we will be happy to encourage you because we know that you can do it.
You can do it.